Hello there guys and welcome, it is Niran here and today it is time for round 8 of our F1 2014 career mode series here with Force India, the Ultimate Driver Season 3. We are here in Austria for round 8, as you can see a 3-stop strategy predicted by the computer on this one. No chance of rain as there was in Canada last time out. Of course, we were left bitterly disappointed, not taking second, not even taking third, taking fourth, being beaten to the line by Daniel Ricciardo as we ran out of fuel. Daniel Ricciardo has been a thorn in our hip all season long. As you can see, there is the strategy. We're going to go into the option tyres on lap 8 before pitting onto the prime tyres on lap 16 and then onto another set of options for lap 28. There you can see our teammate challenge. But before we can contest with Nico Hülkenberg, it is time to have a look at what happened in qualifying with the qualifying report. No prizes for guessing the fastest man in Q1 as Lewis Hamilton beat Daniel Ricciardo's Red Bull by just 1/10 of a second. Toro Rosso showed great pace as both Kvyat and Jean-Eric Vergne made it through easily. The feel-good story of the session, however, was Jules Bianchi making it through to Q2 by just 0.04 of a second in front of Romain Grosjean. Q2 pace would be set by Sebastian Vettel's Red Bull as he took the fight to Lewis Hamilton, with the Brit just 100th behind. Ferrari took 3rd and 4th, with some solid pace. Nico Hülkenberg dropped out of Q2 for only the 2nd time this season, along with Jenson Button, whose qualifying form has really dipped since Monaco. Vettel may have taken Q2, but Q3 and therefore pole would be taken by Lewis Hamilton for the 7th time this season. Sebastian Vettel took a promising 2nd in front of the other Mercedes of Nico Rosberg. Kimi Raikkonen took a solid 4th, whilst Yusufu took 6th in reaction to a disastrous qualifying session in Canada. So all of this means that Lewis Hamilton will take pole here in Austria in front of Vettel, Rosberg, Raikkonen and Ricciardo. Yusufu would take 6th in front of Alonso, Bottas and Magnussen in 9th, with Felipe Massa in 10th. So P6 on the grid, not a bad qualifying, so let's have a look at what we can do in the race. Right then, here we are on the grid in Austria behind Daniel Ricciardo. The light's now starting to illuminate and we are underway here. And it's not a very good start at all, especially in comparison to Fernando Alonso. A lightning quick start there for the Spaniard in the Ferrari, and down into turn 1 we go. We're going to get blocked off here by the other Ferrari of Kimi Raikkonen on the exit of turn 1. Now Kevin Magnussen starting to mug us around the outside, and we're down into 8th place from 6th on the grid. We've lost that to Fernando Alonso, who's also got past Daniel Ricciardo, and through goes Kevin Magnussen. Behind us Valtteri Bottas also making ground, but down into the hairpin the AI are quite slow. We go back up the inside of Magnussen, and Daniel Ricciardo are now alongside Fernando Alonso, but he gets a much better run out of turn 2, and that means we find ourselves in 6th, where we started, I suppose, but it wasn't a very good start whatsoever. We've managed to gain those 2 places back though from Ricciardo and Kevin Magnussen, and now in front of us are the 2 Ferraris, first of all being Fernando Alonso, and we're right behind him here out of that right-hand hairpin downhill, and now going around the outside there as Alonso goes defensive. Brilliant move around, right round even the outside there of Fernando Alonso through that quick left-hander. That was pretty awesome, to say this Force India's got just the highest amount of understeer you could possibly imagine, as now we come through the final few corners into the penultimate right hand corner, and now thundering down towards the last corner, and we club the curb on the inside, and that sent us miles wide. Kimi Raikkonen quite a long way up the road, so we're going to have to close him down if we want a chance at a podium, because actually it looks, by the looks of things, weirdly, as if he's actually being held up by Nico Rosberg here. Of all things, a Mercedes is holding up a Ferrari for some reason on this game. 1.1 seconds the gap at the moment, so we're keeping it relatively constant there on lap 4, but now moving on to lap 6. Of course, a very short lap here in Austria, and moving towards lap 7, in fact. Daniel Ricciardo is actually closing us down. The gap to Raikkonen is up to 2.7 seconds, but Daniel Ricciardo trying to go right round the outside down into turn 1. We're going to hold him off there, go defensive, but we're not going to get a very good exit out of the corner, surely. There's now Daniel Ricciardo and I think Kevin Magnussen in the McLaren behind him, bearing down on us there alongside each other, battling each other, and both closing down on myself. We've not got much in terms of straight line speed for some reason. Very good in the braking zones, but nothing in terms of straight line speed here. But now on to lap 8, it is time for our first of 3 scheduled pit stops. We're going to be jumping onto the option tyres here. Daniel Ricciardo carries on. I think Kevin Magnussen did as well, so we've clearly got the undercut lap, so Nico Hülkenberg will have to carry on too. I think in front of us Rosberg and Alonso behind us may have pitted, so Raikkonen's carried on. So we're getting an undercut on Raikkonen, but seeing as the gap was around about 3 seconds, I don't think we'll be able to close him down enough. Certainly to make a move on him. We'll be able to close down the gap probably by about a second or something, but I don't think we'll be able to jump him. As you can see there, Esteban Gutierrez in the Sauber going through. Hopefully we won't be hindered by himself. We do get DRS. Though from him onto the next lap as the rest of the cars pit from around us. We're into 7th place at the moment, but now we jump up into 6th and then 5th as we go right around the outside of Daniel Ricciardo and Kevin Magnussen exiting the pit lane. Fernando Alonso also managing to just about get in front of our teammate. As we now move on to lap 13. Raikkonen only 1.7 seconds up the road, so we have closed down there as Vettel set fastest lap of the race, and we managed to get a pretty decent gap over Daniel Ricciardo, who was actually on prime tyres himself, and Nico Hülkenberg also moved on to prime tyres. Of course, with a 3-stop strategy, there's a lot of different pathways for strategies in this race. We, of course, jumped onto the option tyres on that stint, but now, after a very quiet second stint, we now move on to the prime tyres here on lap 17. So Daniel Ricciardo, he's used those prime tyres. He'll probably pit in about another 3 laps' time, along with Nico Hülkenberg. We should get a decent jump on him, because we'll get a super undercut on him. But of course, for the latter stages of the race, he'll be a lot quicker than us on those option tyres as we now jump onto the prime tyres. In front of us, Lewis Hamilton, who's clearly also pitted. Now onto lap 21 here. We've made a bit of a mistake there going wide, having lapped Kamui by actually very recently, and that's sort of letting Fernando Alonso catch us. And here he is on the prime tyres as well. And Fernando Alonso, having been about 4 seconds behind us at the start of the stint, has also dragged Kevin Magnussen with him, who is currently on the option tyres in this stint. Daniel Ricciardo has pitted by now onto the option tyres as well. And look at this, onto lap 23, down into turn 3. After a very quiet first half of the race so far, we've now got 3 guys all behind us. Alonso on the primes, then we've got Magnussen and Daniel Ricciardo on the option tyres here, fending these guys off for our lives here for 5th place. But as you can see, Alonso gets a much better exit there out of turn 2. We make a bit of contact there. I think Alonso a little bit lazy there in terms of the move he made there with DRS. We go back up the inside, down into that downhill right-hander. As you can see, look at how close that was on the replay. In fact, well, it wasn't close. We made contact there with Fernando Alonso. As you can see, though, moving on to lap 24, and Fernando Alonso still all over the back of us as we plummet now down towards the penultimate corner. A few guys going to be making some pit stops on this lap, but down into the second to last corner. Alonso trying to go right around the outside. Really awesome stuff there from Fernando Alonso, but we just about hold on as Kevin Magnussen pits behind off those option tyres. We run horribly wide, though, as you can see, and with the assistance of DRS, Alonso and Daniel Ricciardo are both going to go through. Alonso on the primes and Ricciardo on the options. Alonso goes defensive though from Ricciardo, who's got a double slipstream and the DRS, and goes slow through turn 1. We get back up the inside of Fernando Alonso, and now we are bearing down on Daniel Ricciardo. Absolutely awesome racing here between us 3. Kevin Magnussen's missing out. He's just pitted, and we're going to do well here, I think, to fend off Daniel Ricciardo, who is, of course, on the option tyres. Alonso going for the same strategy as us, but we dived up the inside, down into turn 2. He's got us back on the switchback. We do have DRS, but look at the distance we are away now from Daniel Ricciardo. Some incredible racing, and we dive bomb back up the inside, down into that right-hand hairpin. Will he get the switchback yet again? Some awesome racing, brilliant trading of places there between myself and Daniel Ricciardo, and of course Fernando Alonso. A whole lap pretty much side by side with people there on that lap. As you can see, here is a replay now of Fernando Alonso attempting that move right around the outside. Really good stuff there. Great racing and clean racing is the main thing as well. Moving on to lap 26, though, on to the next lap, and Daniel Ricciardo here in the DRS. Of course, there's 2 DRS zones at this track. He's going to try and go right around the outside there, down into that right-hand hairpin, but he's not going to be able to pull it off, as behind Alonso's lost a little bit of time. But as you can see, onto the next lap, and Daniel Ricciardo is trying the same move, in fact, on those option tyres, and we're just about going to fend him off yet again here onto lap 27. And my goodness me, we are defending for our lives now onto lap 28. Daniel Ricciardo's trying a different move down into turn 1, round the outside again, but this time he has made it stick with the assistance of the DRS down the front straight this time. Going to try and stick in the slipstream with him, but look at that, he's getting away massively. Not much in terms of straight line speed, as I said earlier. We will have DRS, though, coming out of this turn 2, as there is a back marker by the looks of things in front of us as well, but this is still not looking too bad. We're on the option tyres for the next stint, and we follow Daniel Ricciardo in now on lap 28. I think Fernando Alonso follows us in as well. Now it is a battle of the pit crews. Can our team, can Force India do us an absolute miracle of a pit stop and see if we can jump Daniel Ricciardo here. As you can see now, moving on to the option tyres, this is our last pit stop and now our last stint. Daniel Ricciardo stays in front of us in the pit lane. Crucially, we stay in front of Fernando Alonso as well as Kevin Magnussen goes through. Now, just to reiterate, he's on a different strategy, of course. He's already used the option tyres. He is now on the prime tyres, but crucially doesn't have to pit again. So yes, we've got a face full of Daniel Ricciardo here. That is our immediate threat, but in front of us by about 4 to 5 seconds now is Kevin Magnussen, and he doesn't have to pit again. He's on the prime tyres. Can we catch him? And can we pass Daniel Ricciardo? I suppose that's our immediate threat. As down the inside, down into turn 2 we go. We leave him some space on the outside, but we managed to get the move done, and I think we'll have DRS as well on exit. Yes, we do, to get away from Daniel Ricciardo and Fernando Alonso, who will be squabbling behind. And, well, my goodness me, as we go purple now onto lap 31, the gap down to 3.4 seconds. We've really got to try and get the hammer down whilst we have the advantage on these option tyres, and whilst they're still, well, not dead, to be honest with you, because if we leave it right to the end of the race, I think we'll just be skating all over the place. Kevin Magnussen will get away. It's a huge gap. I don't know how Magnussen's been able to actually extend a gap like that just from being on the options for slightly longer. As you can see, though, Daniel Ricciardo really starting to try and mess things up. As he tries to go right round the outside there, almost gets the switch back as we go a little bit too deep into turn 1. This isn't really helping us whatsoever, though, because we're trying to catch Kevin Magnussen, and Daniel Ricciardo and Fernando Alonso are just being completely unreasonable, and both of them trying to go either side of us as we go down into turn 2. The gap now to Magnussen has gone up as a result of that to 2.1 seconds as we are now on lap 32, but now moving on to lap 34, the gap coming down yet again now to 1.5 seconds, and it's going to be close. This is going to be very close. Towards the end, though, of lap 34, and now moving on to the end of onto the start now of lap 35, down the start-finish straight, we are right now with Kevin Magnussen on those prime tyres. And this almost worked so well for him, but he's now got everyone behind him on option tyres. We're bearing down on him in the slipstream. Will we go to the inside down into turn 2? Will we recreate that move that we pulled on Daniel Ricciardo a few laps ago? We do. We give him the space yet again. He's going to get a much better exit, though, out of turn 2, and he breezes back past us. We get the assistance of DRS there, but Kevin Magnussen maintaining 5th place for now. We've got the DRS behind us, Daniel Ricciardo as well. He's going to be trying to make some moves as well behind us, and Fernando Alonso there to try and pick up the pieces if anything goes wrong. We are still, though, all over the back of Kevin Magnussen. Will he go defensive down into this left-hand corner? We're on optimal fuel, so we're doing all right. There, Magnussen covering us off there, but he lets us go right round the outside. Another great move right around the outside as we pulled on Fernando Alonso early on in the race. Nico Rosberg sets the fastest lap of the race, but that's completely immaterial because now we've got to defend for our lives from Kevin Magnussen, Daniel Ricciardo and Fernando Alonso all over the back of us for this final lap of the race. Through the penultimate corner we go. And it was a good job we managed to pull that move as we did because the tyres are starting to go off. We've been really slow on exit out of the last corner. And Kevin Magnussen, with the assistance of DRS, is going to breeze through. So is Daniel Ricciardo. Fernando Alonso on his way through as well. We managed to outbrake Daniel Ricciardo, but Magnussen is through. We've cut that corner horribly. I apologise. I didn't mean to, but now we are in the slipstream of Kevin Magnussen. Nico Hülkenberg's joined the party. I can see his yellow dot there as well. And now up the inside of Magnussen, we go down into lean fuel mixture just to be safe because we don't want to recreate last episode. And through we go down into turn 2. It's a clean move, and we'll have the assistance of DRS now as well. But Magnussen still with a pace advantage, going to go to the inside. Ricciardo trying to make it 3 abreast with the assistance of DRS as well. What a finale this is. Magnussen brakes early, and through goes Daniel Ricciardo right round the outside. And now we have to just hold off the Australian to maintain 5th place. His teammate Sebastian Vettel has won the race here. Raikkonen's going to claim 4th. I couldn't give 2 craps, to be honest with you right now, because we are going to have to try and fend off Ricciardo like our life depends on it through these last 2 corners. He's got a great exit, from that corner. We kick up some dust, and now we go to the inside to cover off the move. He's going to give us a little tap there through the penultimate corner, but I think as long as we are relatively clean through this last corner as we club the curb on the inside, I think we are just about going to hold on here to 5th, and what a result that is. What a finale. What a final few laps there. Catching Magnussen, brilliant battling between myself, Alonso and Ricciardo, especially throughout the race. As you can see, Sebastian Vettel wins from Lewis Hamilton. Nico Rosberg there claiming 3rd in front of Kimi Raikkonen in the Ferrari. Very solid race for Raikkonen there in his Ferrari. We claim 5th, though, in front of Daniel Ricciardo, Kevin Magnussen, Alonso, Massa and Hülkenberg even joined in right towards the end. What a race that was. What a final few laps. Well, 11th place there going to Daniel Fiat there as well in the Toro Rosso. 12th Bottas misses out on points. Why am I surprised? He hasn't scored a single point yet this season from a Jenson Button who had an equally disastrous race today. The only retirement there being Pastor Maldonado in the Lotus. Here is how that result affects the Drivers' Championship. Lewis Hamilton still leading it now by 18 points in front of Rosberg and Daniel Ricciardo. We have now in fact been jumped by Sebastian Vettel after that huge points difference between ourselves and Vettel there, as Vettel of course won the race. Alonso occupying 6th in front of teammate Raikkonen, with Button, Massa, Hülkenberg, Magnussen and Kobayashi rounding out a top 12. Here are the Constructors' Championship as well, and Mercedes, they're still out in front by 84 points in front of Red Bull. We find ourselves now only 3 points in front of Ferrari after that gap was slashed because of a good result there for Ferrari, and not a great result for Nico Hülkenberg overall, with McLaren and Williams occupying 5th and 6th in the Constructors' Championship. But I really hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Ultimate Driver. Feel free to leave a like if you did, and comment about enjoying it if you enjoyed it that much. Subscribe if you're new around here for an incredible finale to that race. Absolutely awesome battling there with Ricciardo, with Alonso and with Kevin Magnussen too. So I really hope you enjoyed this series, really starting to spring to life with some awesome races since Monaco, and it's absolutely awesome. It's been an absolute pleasure ranting at you guys though today. Have a good day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.